The beaches of Copacabana in Brazil are deserted. There are no crowds pouring in to watch football games in Chile's national stadium in Santiago, and Machu Picchu in Peru isn't brimming with visitors as it usually is at this time of year. Tourism has tanked due to the coronavirus pandemic, and that's left Latin America's largest airline with more bills to pay than money coming in. LATAM has filed for bankruptcy after missing payments on a $1 billion loan. Now it's hoping to strike a deal with its creditors to stay in business.
We are looking ahead to a post-COVID future and focused on transforming our group to adapt to a new and evolving way of flying, with the health and safety of our passengers and employees being paramount.
Airlines across the world are facing similar challenges. Virgin Australia, the UK's regional airline Flybe, and Colombia's Avianca have all gone into administration in recent weeks. Only some carriers are getting the help they need from governments. Air France KLM received $11 billion last month from France and the Netherlands. And now Germany's largest carrier Lufthansa is getting a bailout. The German government is injecting $9 billion in the airline. In return, Berlin will receive a 20% stake in the company. Finance Minister Olaf Scholz says the bailout will save 135,000 jobs.
This is about finding a reasonable solution for Lufthansa that will not punish the company for a situation it couldn't do anything about. Lufthansa needs a stopgap to get through the crisis and then carry on. We don't want to stretch our involvement, but rather want to exit at a suitable time, which will depend on the economic developments and will be defined by the state of affairs and the skill of the company in turning itself around.
Analysts say air travel may not return to pre-COVID-19 levels for years to come. And without government support, most of the world's airlines could soon be out of business. Mobin Nasir, TRT World.
For more on this, aviation analyst and president of the Flight Safety Foundation, Hassan Shahidi, joins us now from Alexandria, Virginia. Welcome to Money Talks, Hassan. Now, we heard that Latin America is the latest major carrier to file for bankruptcy in the United States. The CEO, Roberto Alvo, says it's done so in order to reorganize the company so it doesn't completely collapse. Do you think LATAM still has a future then?
Well, Oscar, thank you for the invitation. You know, LATAM has a fleet of 330 aircraft, largest airline in Latin America, with 145 destinations, and it carried nearly 70 million passengers in 2019. But LATAM has a $4 billion debt, and with 90% or 95% of its flight canceled due to the pandemic, this bankruptcy was only a matter of time. With virtually no revenues, it became impossible to continue the service and to pay the workforce as well. So there is a future, however, with resumption of flights and traffic. There is a future for restructuring its finances. And LATAM is planning to grow 9% in June and 18% in July. And so that is going to be a path forward.
Can I ask you about Lufthansa now, the German carrier? So it's been saved from the brink of collapse thanks to a $10 billion government bailout package. We know the German government was very reluctant in order to bail out the flag carrier. Do you believe Lufthansa will make the most of this rescue deal and continue on in the future?
I believe that Lufthansa has an excellent financial position, and with the government's help, it will be able to certainly survive and do well. They are already planning operations within Germany and within Europe in the coming months. I will also add that unlike the governments in North America and Europe, Latin America governments have been reluctant to support the airlines, and that is going to continue to provide some difficulty there.
Yes, I'd like to ask you, are we going to have a civil aviation industry that really has two distinct separate worlds, if you like? The government-supported carriers whose politicians can afford to bail them out, and the others in emerging economies or economies that aren't as wealthy, who simply cannot afford to have these vital industry players survive?
I think it's going to be a combination of financial position, future growth in traffic, as well as the ability to negotiate with labor organizations and to restructure costs. There is not going to be a one single answer or one simple solution, but a combination of solutions that could ultimately save some of these airlines.
Okay, Hassan Shahidi from the Flight Safety Foundation, thank you so much for your analysis.